All right. So let's move to the East. I think all of us agreed that the East was going to be the region of insanity in this tournament. None of us correctly predicted what that insanity was going to end up being. St. Peter's won. Purdue is now the highest seeded team left in the tournament. North Carolina knocked off Baylor. I want to talking about the East. I'm going to start with this. T. I'm going to go to you first on this one. Sure. Is Purdue now the favorite to make the Final Four out of the East region after I spent months saying how this team was not going to be able to get out of the first weekend, was not good enough to defend to get to a Final Four, was not an actual national title contender? Am I going to have to go back, put a little bit of salt on all of those words and just eat them all up?
Just a spoonful of salt. You're just gonna have to eat it up. No, they're definitely the favorites to get to the Elite Eight. I mean, St. Peter's, as beautiful as this run was, I mean, they weren't playing 7'5", so that's going to be interesting to see how they try to game plan around that. Elite Eights for sure. The matchup in that Elite Eight, I think, is going to dictate a lot because I think UCLA has size to throw at them. And UCLA, they're playing as if they were just bored in the regular season. And now that the tournament's here, they're excited. They're playing hard. They're knocking down shots. Defensively, they've been good. They've been through a lot this season. If UCLA is able to overcome Carolina, I could certainly see UCLA knocking off Purdue. North Carolina is an interesting one because they rely so much on Armando Bacot to do everything in the paint. He's very similar in how he has to do everything for them as Oscar Tshiebwe was. Problem with that is whenever you have Travion Williams and Zach Edey, that's going to be a tough matchup for Bacot. So you're not going to get that same amount of production. I think it depends on who Purdue plays in the Elite Eight. They play Carolina, I think Purdue advances. They play UCLA, it'll be a one-possession game.
I like what I'm seeing from those Bruins, and they do appear that they were bored at times in the regular season. It really looks like that because this team is coming into form. They've treated it almost like an NBA season. I think this team is really dangerous, and you know why I think that? Because Jaime Jaquez and Johnny Juzang garner a lot of attention from a defense. But Jules Bernard benefits off of that and hits threes for them. He hit 3 threes for them in the win over St. Mary's. He opens up that offense and gives them a different dimension. So UCLA is a team that has an NBA look to their roster in the way that they are structured. I'm not sitting here saying that we're talking about that talent, but I'm saying the way that they play. It's all versatility. Switchable, interchangeable, point guard play is present. Tiger Campbell, wow, what a player he has become as the rock of this group, as the man who establishes things. And they have the size to match up defensively. They don't get a lot from their size on the offensive end of the floor. They don't need to. They don't need to. And we often say like UCLA is the hard shot-making team, but there's a reason for that. There's a reason why the shots are going in. Because they're able to rise above. You know how they say, make them shoot over you. UCLA has no problem shooting over people. And they're in a position here. I think that they can muck it up against Carolina. And that because Baylor was not guarding the ball. And Baylor offensively was a mess for a good portion of the game against North Carolina. And Baylor still almost only counts in horseshoes, almost came away. I like UCLA in the East region, guys. I just think that they are peaking at the perfect time. They have a great awareness of who they are. But I think the fascinating layer to this storyline is Matt Painter. Matt Painter, for all intents and purposes, is going to be one win away again, Rob. One win away again from the Final Four. Which, can he do it?
Yeah, I think Purdue is going to find a way to get it done.
Wow.
I do. I think that they're going to end up being in the Final Four. I think that North Carolina gets past UCLA. I don't think this is a great matchup for UCLA. I think North Carolina is playing their absolute best basketball of the season, and they've really bought into this idea of, you know what, we basically just got to play our 5 guys. We'll play our 5 studs: Bacot, Manek, RJ Davis, Caleb Love, and Leaky Black, and just go with it. And that might be enough to be able to get us to the Final Four.
And then you hope to get a good performance from one guy over there. And that one guy happened to be Dontrez Styles, who played well.
Oh, man, he was awesome. The 3 that he hit at the start of overtime when Baylor makes this huge comeback, right? It looks like I think everybody on the planet was rushing to get in those Baylor live bets as soon as it went to overtime, right? First possession, he comes down, he bangs the three in the corner. They get the lead back, and all of a sudden, the pressure is back on Baylor, who's shorthanded. Adam Flagler banged his head, looked like he was out. Matt Meyer was banged up. They didn't have LJ Cryer. They didn't have Jonathan Chamba-Chachua. So it sucks at the way the season ended for the Bears. They just couldn't stay healthy. But last year they didn't have to deal with any kind of injury. So it's one of those things.
And it's something the reigning champs, the reigning champion lack of success. It's amazing.
But that tells you everything you need to know about the NCAA tournament and why it is the worst possible way to determine the best team and the best possible way to determine a champion. Right? You're not the thing about it. And I'm not going to on this show. I'm not going to bring up anything about was the SEC overrated? Was the Big Ten overrated? Did we underrate the ACC?
Why not?
Because here's one game sample sizes are the worst possible way to do any of that. So it's a random.
Yeah,
it's
but
a little bit of a pest peeve. We'll get into that in a second. Let me just finish this point here. So I think that
you're not going to, but we're going to.
Yeah, we'll get it. If Phantom wants to go down that road, we can go down that road. What I will say is this: the three that Styles hit is the kind of confidence booster that you need for a guy coming off of the bench. Right? It was a huge moment, and it you can make the argument that that's one of the reasons that they won because I mean North Carolina was just pissing down their leg. I think North Carolina gets past UCLA. That's a horrible matchup for them because what Purdue is basically everything that North Carolina is. They just have better players and guys that are more effective in those specific roles. So I think
and a coach who's been there Final Four.
Yeah,
and a coach who's been there a bunch.
And like we got to give Hubert his flowers. Like he turned this thing around. Like he got this. He kept everybody engaged. Same thing with Penny. You got to give him his flowers too. Like the job that he did at Memphis was just absolutely terrific, keeping everybody engaged. That thing could have spun off the rails. Same thing with North Carolina, and they're here in the Sweet 16. But yeah, I think Purdue gets it done. I really think that they're going to end up in the Final Four. Let me ask you this, Fanta, who out of everybody in that region, who's the one guy where you find yourself saying, okay, he has to play well for this team to be able to make it out of Philadelphia?
I'm going to say Caleb Love because I think he's got to be great for North Carolina to win the region. And I think RJ Davis was great over the weekend. Phenomenal performance. RJ put on a show. But I do think that Caleb Love has got to give North Carolina his best. Because if he does, it just continues to unlayer what their offense is. This is a team that's playing really confident basketball at the moment. They look like a team that could make the Final Four with the confidence they're playing with. I just think they're taking it to their opponent. And so for me, Carolina's ceiling was always determined by what Caleb Love exactly gave them. And if he and Davis are meshing, UCLA could have issues. Because Armando Bacot's a force. And North Carolina is playing a lot closer to a 2 or a 3 than they are, when they started in an 8-9 game. So I think it goes to Carolina because if their dudes play at the level they're capable of, there's a reason why they're wearing a Tar Heels uniform.
They need dudes to make dude plays.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to go with Caleb Love.
I'm going to go with the same team, different player. Bacot has his hands full over the next couple of days. Was it Miles John? Like UCLA's got big guys they can throw at him. Purdue has huge guys they can throw at him. St. Peter's doesn't, but just congratulations, great run. But Purdue is just too big. If he's able to continue his play, and he's going to be severely outsized against Purdue if they were to advance. He's going to give them a shot. It's like I said, there's two guys that mean more to their team in that interior than pretty much any other guys, and it's Oscar Tshiebwe and it's Armando Bacot. Those two guys hold the fort down in the paint. If he's able to do that against either UCLA or Purdue, he's going to give them a chance. Caleb Love's been up and down, but I just have so much confidence right now in RJ Davis that I feel like if he's able to hold serve, quoting Archie Miller there, hold serve, and play well in the post with all those guys. I think it could be interesting for North Carolina. We hated on them all year. I was down on the Hubert train, and now, buddy, have they figured it out?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jaime Jaquez. The UCLA kind of turning this thing around and getting it figured out and playing their best, to me, hinges on whether or not Jaquez, one, that ankle that he rolled is healthy, and two, if he's just as good of a scoring threat as Johnny Juzang and Jules Bernard are. Like, he has to be someone that is capable of getting you 20 and 10, right? He's got to be able to help swarm Purdue inside. He's got to be able to help make sure that Brady Manick doesn't have a game like he did against Baylor. So to me, it's Jaime Jaquez is going to end up being the difference maker. Okay, we're going to get into a region by region breakdown of the Sweet 16. But first, just want to let you know that today's episode of the DTF podcast is sponsored by Honey, which is the easiest way to save money when shopping on your phone or your computer. Have you ever been in this spot, guys? You're shopping for something online. You get to check out when it asks you for a promo code. You start Googling, trying to find some way to save a little bit of money. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past, because Honey is the free tool that scours the internet for you and finds the best one that fits your cart. Here's how it works. You're shopping. You check out. The Honey button pops up. You click apply coupons. You wait a few seconds and you watch the price that you pay go down. I use Honey myself. I just bought my son all of his T-ball gear for the season over the weekend. And anyone that has kids, Fancy, you don't know about this yet. Tio, you definitely do, knows how expensive that stuff can get. But with Honey, I saved myself a cool $45. That's not bad. It was about 25% off the total. So it's free. It's so easy, and it works on a desktop. It works on a laptop. It works on an iPhone. All you have to do on your phone is just activate the tab on the Safari app. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. By getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. I never recommend something that I don't use myself. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/March Madness. That's joinhoney.com/March Madness. The link will be in the description.